Well, good morning. It is such a privilege to be able to share with you this morning, and it won't surprise you that the theme of today is Easter. At Christmas, we buy presents, we bring a tree into the house from outside, we eat lots of food, watch Christmas films, and we remember Jesus' birth. Now, we're about to celebrate Easter where we bite the chocolate, we remember Jesus' death. It doesn't seem quite so fun, but it's okay because the story has a good ending. But did you know that there's some films that would class as Easter films? Apparently, the following films are supposed to have an Easter connection: Superman Returns, RoboCop and RoboCop 2, The Matrix, Wallace and Gromit: The Curse of the Were Rabbit, although I'm not fully convinced. The classic Easter film, other than The Passion of the Christ and maybe Jesus Christ Superstar, would be The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe from the Chronicles of Narnia by C.S. Lewis, and I'll come back to this a bit later on. And Mr. Wills spoke last week about the crucifixion and how it was always God's plan all along. You're going to hear later this week from Mrs. Robertson about what the resurrection means to us today. So what I thought I'd do this morning is to try and put you into the shoes of the disciples who spent pretty much every day of the previous 3 years with Jesus as they tried to make sense of those days and events that were about to unravel. Now, since January in the midweek assemblies, we've been spending a lot of time looking at the life of Jesus and some of the miraculous things that he did. He'd often talk about the kingdom of heaven, and he'd make reference to the fact that he wouldn't always be with them. The disciples would have been around all this time and would have heard this said for so many times, but they would just never really understood what he was talking about. Like I said earlier, we've seen some of the stories in the Bible where Jesus did miraculous things, and he was actually often upsetting the religious leaders, the Pharisees. They didn't like him claiming to be God, and of all people, they should have seen it coming. Anyway, they seemed more keen to arrest Jesus than to find out whether he was actually telling the truth or not. Now, there were many things written in the Old Testament about how the Messiah would be hung on a cross, he would give up his life for others. And Jesus himself says in the Gospel of John, he says, "Destroy this temple and I will raise it up in 3 days." Having said all of this, the religious leaders and the disciples were still completely unaware of what was going to happen. Now, I don't know how you feel when something good or something that you rely on gets taken away from you. I know that can be really difficult, especially if it's your phone or your Xbox. The disciples were about to have their world turned upside down as Jesus is taken away from them, is led away to be crucified. Now, I mentioned before about the Narnia films. They have a strong connection to the Bible. Narnia is a land subject to the rule of the evil White Witch, and the film follows 4 children who stumble on the land by chance. They discover the magic of Narnia under the leadership of Aslan, this magnificent lion, and they seek to free the land from the spell of the White Witch. So we're going to join the story where Aslan has been chained to the stone table, he's been killed by the White Witch, and all hope of freedom for Narnia has disappeared.
We should go.
So cold. Susan! It's Aslan.
What have they done? But we saw the knife. The witch.
witch.
If the witch knew the true meaning of sacrifice, she might have interpreted the deep magic differently. That when a willing victim who has committed no treachery is killed in a traitor's stead, the stone table will crack, and even death itself would turn backwards.
We sent the news that you were dead. Peter and Edmund will have gone to war.
We have to help them.
We will, dear one, but not alone. Climb on my back. We have far to go, and little time to get there. And you may want to cover your ears.
Now, what follows from that clip, as you might expect, is Aslan leading the people into battle against the White Witch, and they are obviously victorious, and the land of Narnia becomes free. I'm sorry if that spoiled the film for you. Now, there is a huge parallel to that story, and that of Jesus Christ, who gave up his life so we could have eternal life, and therefore restoring that relationship with us and God the Father. Now, in John 15:13, we read the words of Jesus. He says this: "Greater love has no one than this, that he laid down his life for his friends." And he's referring to himself in terms of what he's going to do on the cross. Now, going back to the disciples for a minute, I wonder how they felt when Jesus was arrested. He'd been such a huge part of their lives, and I suspect it'd be unimaginable for him to suddenly not be there. Add to that the nature of his arrest and the brutal torture that was about to take place. I always wonder whether at that point they believed in the miracle for him to escape what was happening or not. They'd gone through the pains of grief when Jesus' body was taken off the cross and put in the grave, and then the feelings of disbelief when they found out that his body was no longer in the tomb. Now, as Christians, we believe that through the cross, through the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ, all the laws of the Old Testament requiring sacrifices and rules and regulations, they're all fulfilled through Jesus, who is a perfect sacrifice that made us right again with God. We believe death is now defeated, and the goodness is victorious over evil. Death and sickness will be no more when Jesus returns again, and we're going to live in a new heaven and a new earth with God forever, whatever that looks like. I would like to encourage you this Easter to consider what you believe to be true about the person of Jesus Christ. And we celebrate his birth at Christmas, and of course, we don't celebrate his death, but we absolutely do celebrate his resurrection at Easter. And we take this opportunity to look forward to the hope that we have in Jesus in the age to come. So thanks for listening this morning. I'd like to wish you a happy Easter. And again, just to encourage you to reflect on that, on the season over the coming weeks. Thank you.